Let's get started. The last drone strike carried out by the United States in Kabul on August 29th was the topic of investigation in the US Congress. On the hot seat was Secretary of State Antony Blinken when questioned whether the US government had killed an aid worker or an isi-k militant. Blinken only maintained that the government was reviewing the strike and that he did not know whether the strike had killed innocent civilians or not.
The guy the Biden administration droned, was he an aid worker or an isi-k operative?
The administration is, of course, reviewing that strike, and I'm sure that a full assessment will be forthcoming.
So you don't know if it was an aid worker or an isi-k operative?
I can't speak to that, and I can't speak to that in this setting in any event.
So you don't know or won't tell us?
I don't know because we're reviewing it.
Our correspondent Susan Tehrani sent us the latest report with more developments on the undergoing investigation. Take a look.
Some 2 weeks after that U.S. drone strike killed 10 innocent Afghans, including 7 children, the Biden administration continues to insist that the matter is being investigated. However, more questions are left than answers. For example, without any real presence in Afghanistan, how is this investigation being carried out? And is this administration once again cooperating with the Taliban? U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was grilled at the Senate by Kentucky Senator Rand Paul about whether or not this strike in fact killed an isi-k member or an aid worker, in which Antony Blinken replied, "I don't know," adding that the strike was still being reviewed. Rand Paul replied, "You'd think you'd kind of know before you off someone with a Predator drone." Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION. World is One.
Now let's recap the events which are under question. 48 hours before the August 31st deadline, the US conducted a drone strike in Kabul. This was in apparent retaliation to the August 26 suicide bombing at the Kabul airport. 13 US service personnel and more than 170 Afghan civilians were killed. At the time, the Pentagon had said that an Islamic State Khorasan planner and another one of the group's members was killed in the precision strike. WION was the first to cast doubt on the Pentagon's version of events and whether the US had successfully killed those that they had claimed to have targeted. WION's Anas Malik reached the drone strike the next morning itself. 14 hours after the rocket struck the area, what he saw were harrowing visuals. The place still smelled as if something had been melted. Our reporter has now sent us this detailed report. Take a look.
The family says that they demand justice. They have outrightly denied any links with the IS, contrary to how it has been reported or claimed, and they say that these were innocent civilians. This is what the family has maintained. There were children among them, 10 civilian casualties, as what the locals have been telling us, and they've also maintained that there was no secondary explosion. There was only one explosion that took place because of the rocket that had hit the car.
We even spoke to Emal Ahmadi, the victim's brother. Emal had lost his own daughter in the strike and was grief-stricken by the entire incident. But even then, he told us that the strike was a wrong one and that his brother was a trained electrical engineer, in fact.
Yeah, my name is Emal. That yesterday, unfortunately, I lost my big brother and with 3 sons. And also I lost one of my small daughters, and one of my brothers lost her 3 child. And also I lost one of my nephew in here. Yeah.
We even took a look at the vehicle that was targeted in the strike. From human remains to parts of the vehicle, everything was still pretty clearly visible. The victim was among 10 civilians, including children whom the US killed that day through a Reaper drone strike in the middle of Kabul. One of those killed was from the Afghan army, Nasir Haidari, who had fought alongside the same US forces that targeted him and was waiting for a special immigrant US visa. But the killing of an innocent family fueled by retaliation and without any credible intelligence, adds to more than 70,000 Afghan and Pakistani civilians who have died from direct US attacks that were intended to kill terrorists. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.